Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tonight Show podcast for today, the 16th of July, live on YouTube and on my Amazon tablet tonight for the first time. Yes, unfortunately, it seems like my internet is not liking me for the last week or so. So I've come on here hoping that this doesn't kick me off like my iPhone did, sadly. Yes, so I won't be able to share any tabs. I'll have to use my phone or use other devices to do all my news on. But anyway, I think I can remember most of it if I can. I'm joined by Labour Party supporter Zach Transparent, all latest news. Hello, Zach.
Hello, Charlie. Hello, mate.
Right, moving on to my villains of the week this week. And my first villain of the week goes to Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, for an absolute, can I just say, for an absolute diabolical ending. Literally, I watched the final part of the match. Or I watched the whole of the second half, by the way. Why do you sub Anthony Gordon, who scored the first goal, with someone else? And then all of a sudden, he subs Ivan Toney comes on for John Stones. And literally, and then Argentina score 2 late goals because they bring on their own subs. What an embarrassment from England in the end. You know, when the first goal went in, everyone was celebrating across the country as if we'd suddenly beaten Argentina. And then just, yes, heartbreak again for England. And questions will have to be answered for Thomas Tuchel. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a chop after that, because that was dismal. My uncle was definitely not very happy after that result. I can tell you that for a fact, with that amount of words I had down the phone the other day. So, yes, England definitely get another. Well, actually, Thomas Tuchel is going to get my first villain of the week this week. Absolutely disastrous performance from England the other night after being so far ahead. And also, I'm gonna have to give it as well to Argentina, as well, actually, for their poster advertising. Apparently, their poster was to do with the Falklands War. I mean, why did you display that on the pitch after we went out? Like, come on. I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, it's clear to me that, yeah, don't get me wrong, Messi done a great cross right at the end. I'll give you credit for that. That was a great cross at the end. But the fact is that this game should have been ours. And then right at the end, they scored 2 late goals like they did against Egypt when they scored 3 in the last 15 minutes to win the match. And then this whole post has now been the subject. Apparently, Keir Starmer's weighed in now on it as well, the Prime Minister. They've called for an investigation into it. Well, put it this way, Argentina and Spain are playing on Sunday, according to what I've been hearing. We're in the first place playoff against France in Miami. And, yes, it seems to me that Argentina will probably get at most a fine for that, not disqualification. So, yes, a very bad news. And I have to say, Zach, what's your villains of the week? I mean, they're mine. Obviously, you know, just disappointing if you're an England fan after that performance the other night in the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Yeah, well, it's clear to me that the villain of the week is England. Unfortunately, it's. I heard rumors on the street is that someone said people will be saying it was about to come home. I wonder where I've heard that phrase before. That phrase 2 years ago, and then I heard that sort of 2 years before that. Then I heard it 2 years before that in 2020. Then I heard it 2 years before that in 2018. As far as I can see, and just take my glasses off a minute. Oh, put it back on again. It hasn't come home again. Now I'm just starting to think that the term "it's coming home" is an overrated pile of tosh. Let's be honest. In some form, it did come home. It came home too early. It came home early, and it was left there. Very simple. Yeah. What an overrated song. No more Wonderwall. No more singing Hey Jude and all that sort of thing. No more singing Vindaloo and all that sort of thing. I mean, you can forget that. They're all overrated. Let's. it's coming home. Only you should apply to the women's team because they can actually win football tournaments, unlike us. We can't. And speaking of the match itself, look, you got to give England credit for the first half. They did well. I think they did really well in the first half. I feel like they put Argentina on a lot of pressure. They did well in the first part of the second half with that Anthony Gordon goal. And then we sort of look back at, what was it? A few years ago, 2018, for example, 2020, we've seen this before. We go 1-0 up, and then we go all defensive against really, really offensive teams. That never works. Against Argentina, it's never going to work. I mean, we had our substitutions, half of it was bloody defenders, wasn't it? I mean, that was not going to work. And it showed. It shows that every time we go on there, the attitude seems to be park the bus. That's not how we should be doing it. Again, we never seem to learn this in England. We should never park the bus when you're 1-0 up. You should go for a second. Then maybe start parking the bus a little bit. But then again, it's Argentina. So what do you expect? It's never a good idea. Argentina's tactics towards the end was perfect. They took on, 3 subs at the same time? The mood of the game, the energy of the game completely changed. Then it was 1-0 up. Then there was that header at 1-1. And then Lionel Messi's assist in the 91st minute. Again, we're just too bottomly. We're just too lazy. We're just too defensive. We don't try. We're too reliant on the counter, which don't work against Argentina when they're pressed inside. They just don't work. And yeah, we saw the consequences of it. It's obviously disappointing as an England fan. Like once again, we couldn't get through. But I think Thomas Tuchel is partly responsible for the loss on Sunday. Argentina were beatable, and we did not rise to that occasion. We rise to the occasion for the majority of the game, but when it got to the part of the game that mattered, we just sat there, laid off, did nothing, and we saw the consequences of it. Fair play Argentina. They never back down. They always find a way of winning, even from the actual shovels of defeat. They managed to find a way to win, and it showed why they're World Cup champions, and that's shown them why again they can try and go back to back in the World Cup. It's basically the two dominant teams of world football over the last few years, Spain and Argentina, that meet in the final on Sunday at the New Jersey Stadium. As well was England do have one more game, but it's for the bronze medal third place position in Miami against a French team. We've shown that Argentina may have won the Battle of the Falklands, but at the moment the Battle of Bastille third place is still on, look, nobody's going to really care that much. I don't feel. I mean, people might care because it's England playing, but. Yeah, I just don't think there'll be the spirit available for a third place game, as usual. I mean, look, third place, good. It's symbolism, that's good. But who knows? I wouldn't be surprised to see some changes to the sides, and I don't know how much effort they'll put into third place. They may not want third place. Let's just be honest about it. That's at 10 o'clock. And then, Sunday is, the World Cup final. Spain, Argentina, two teams that deserve to be there. Spain have been quiet up of this tournament, and they were just lacking a bit of something. But even though they were getting through, they were lacking a bit of something. I think they then started showing it against France on Tuesday when they finally dispensed basically the favourites went out, and they actually showed up for that. But will they show up again on Sunday against a very beatable, very interesting Argentina team? I mean, both teams have struggled against Cape Verde. Would you believe it? For early in the tournament. So yeah, it's a bit of a symbolism that they've battled through and they've got to this stage of the tour where they're facing for the ultimate goal as well. So that will be at 8 o'clock on Sunday as well. Now, also happening as well, and I should mention, there will be the football, but there's also going to be the matter of something a little bit different as well during the World Cup. Would you believe? Because for the first time, as it being America, of course there has to be some Americanism to the World Cup and the biggest game on the earth. So there will be a halftime show. Yeah, how very American it is as well. So let me tell you who's performing. You got Justin Bieber, you got Madonna, you got Shakira, you got Gustavana, you got BTS, the biggest K-pop band in the world. That's going to be co-headlining the halftime show. That'll be curated by Chris Martin from Coldplay. But the halftime show as well. It's very American, and it just sounds like some would say, as the British would choose, utter woke nonsense. But there's also, I think there's another element to this as well. There is also this is also supporting FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, which aims to raise 100 million USD to expand access to quality education. So I know it sounds like a load of rubbish initially, but I suppose there's also a good cause about it as well. It's provided by Global Citizen as well. So yeah, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see Justin Bieber. You're going to see BTS. I mean, BTS. I think a lot of people are going to be excited for BTS, mainly because they're huge worldwide. But yeah, it's going to be a long halftime show. It's going to be about, understandably, it's going to take about 15 of the 30 minutes up. And actually, it's going to be a longer halftime than what it normally is as well. So yeah. If you're familiar with the Super Bowl halftime show, this is like the equivalent of that. But yeah, I'm not sure how people are going to feel about it. People may like it, but people may not. I'm sure. I actually feel like it's going to be better received than what we feel like is going to be perceived, wanted to be received. But yeah, anyway, who knows? So yeah, England, France, 10 p.m. on Sunday for the Saturday for the third place. And then on Sunday, the 8 o'clock, the world's greatest game, Spain, Argentina, to get their hands on the World Cup trophy. Will it be the European champions, or will it be the reigning World Cup winners on Sunday? Wow. Expect a big game ahead as well on the world stage ahead.
That's all of the football news coming up now. Moving on to some news. We'll do the sports whilst we're here. Not really much on the sports front because most of the football season's over apart from the World Cup. Formula One back this weekend in Spa, and lots of drivers warning about safety and also super clipping again because of the Kemmel Straight being one of the longest straights on the calendar. The run-up Raidillon. Now, I was at Goodwood Festival of Speed the other week, and I got emotional, actually, because Pierre Gasly spoke about the Antoine Hubert crash. And when I saw Behrman's crash at Suzuka on the onboard, I was like, these cars, they're slowing down the straight, and say someone's on boost, they're still going to have this type of crash could still happen. With Spa being having narrow runoffs because there's a river next to the track, I fear something big's coming this weekend. I fear we're going to get a big accident. And obviously, to make more matters worse, if you're a McLaren fan, Lando Norris has a grid penalty for going over the number of batteries allocated for the season. I mean, doesn't get any more FIA, F1E than that, isn't it? Oh, man. Batteries. If you want good batteries, Formula E will do it for you when Gen 4 launches next year. That's all I'm going to say. I'm actually looking forward to Gen 4 next year. When I saw Dan Ticktum taking the car up the hill at Goodwood the other week, I was like, wow, that thing's so fast. It'll be an F1 killer when it comes out. Yes, I think Mercedes domination again. Having said that, I did watch a feature during the week that Sky Sports F1 were doing with Ollie Behrman driving Ayrton 1985 Lotus with Karun Chanduk doing the presenting that day for that segment. I must admit, I got quite emotional watching that when him driving around Silverstone in it, because that car was when Ayrton Senna won his first ever Grand Prix in Estoril in 1985, in a rain-soaked race where actually only, I think, 3 cars finished on the lead lap. He lapped, I think, everyone up to 4th place, which is quite incredible, really. Senna is known as the rainmaster for many people, like Michael Schumacher. So, yes, Zach, what's your review coming up for this weekend's Formula One Belgian Grand Prix, and also Ollie Behrman's rare opportunity of driving a 1985 around Silverstone?
That was a feature I saw actually as well, and that was a very good feature. Really, that was great. That was brilliant to see. Over this weekend, Spa-Francorchamps, again, another very power heavy circuit as well. There'll be some opportunities for trying to get the battery up, but also it is going to be heavy on the throttle. And the megajoules have been gone up again. It's 7 megajoules as well for the map. And we will going to probably see what the Supercars is like back on television. I didn't get to see it because I was there, and actually we didn't really notice it. But you would think Mercedes would be favourite going into this weekend, but who knows whatever technical fringe is going to happen. And actually, Lando Norris, McLaren was going to this week in a bad mood. They didn't have the greatest of races at Silverstone, even though their raw performance was off. And they're going to be going there with Lando Norris having a 10-place grid penalty. Now, he's the first driver to go over his allocated limit for batteries. They're only allowed 3 batteries per season under the new regulations, and he's on his 4th, so he's going to be taking a 10-place grid penalty this weekend for going over his allocation. That is not great, and it shows that McLaren obviously it shows the depth of McLaren's reliability issues throughout the season with battery and all that sort of thing as well. But he'll be at disadvantage on Sunday, and I don't expect this to be McLaren's track either as well. It's not going to be very favourable to them. Hungary might be a bit more up there, a little bit more up their area. But for now, Belgium is going to be quick. You think Mercedes coming at this as the favourite, but remains to be seen whether they will or not. But there's going to be a lot of fast action. There's plenty of. I think there'll still be plenty of overtaking opportunities, no doubt about it. And you may see a bit of yo-yoing about, but I'm sure. Hopefully, despite all the talks of batteries, we'll still get a decent race ahead on Sunday.
Yes, there's also been some news as well about Red Bull. Apparently, Zach, according to what I've been reading, this is from what I think some of the F1 technical analysts. It looks like Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar, or Max Verstappen's car particularly, will revert back to the old Austria wing for Spa, because apparently the Macarena rear wing that Ferrari used apparently caused an issue at Silverstone into So, where it seemed like straight mode didn't disengage properly and shut. As a result, the car spun off into the gravel.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no surprise on that one. I think Red Bull have had several issues at Max Verstappen's rear wing. And I suppose if they're going to go back to the Austria rear wing, it makes sense because there's obviously some issues around it, and that needs to be fixed and have it. And the new one at the moment is clearly not working. So I've read a potentially as well. I don't know. My understanding potentially is that Isaac Hadjar may not be the only driver. Lando Norris may not be the only driver possibly getting a grid penalty this weekend. I have seen suggestions that Red Bull might change something on Hadjar's car. That means that Hadjar may get a penalty for allocation, but we don't know. I mean, it's probably too early to say yet as well. Outside of the world of F1, there's obviously been wild speculation over the last few days about Max Verstappen's future. Oscar Piastri's future has been subject to some very peculiar speculation. Now, I don't see him. I don't know. Max Verstappen at times, and you can tell he's a bit grumpy at the moment. Does that mean he wants to leave? I don't know. There's an opening for Stain, but then also there's also been these links about whether Oscar Piastri could do a swap with Max Verstappen at Red Bull's McLaren seat. I think it's all been sort of died down for now. I think their agents have sort of been shut shop on it. Max Verstappen seems to be, whilst quiet, there seems to be moving toward in the Red Bull front that he probably would be staying. So probably nothing more than just noise as usual. But you may have been hearing a lot about it as well. I don't. There's lots of fever pitch about that as well. But who knows? I can't. I don't know. I don't see it happening at the moment. But we've heard wild things before, haven't we?
I think I've got a few speculations about driver market. I think the Oscar Piastri thing, Mark Webber's already come out and said that he's not going anywhere at McLaren, because I know McLaren have got extra contracts locked in for both of their drivers. Max Verstappen is someone that I'm going to keep an eye on because he clearly hates these regs. One of the most vocal about them. And, the offer's there, Max. If you want to join GT racing or endurance racing, go ahead. It will help me out massively when it comes to watching it. But yes, given that someone recently joined the GT team the other week, it's certainly going to be interesting, to say the least. Verstappen Racing is going to get a new GT entry. A new driver joined his racing team. So, yes, Verstappen Racing definitely getting going strength to strength. But as for F1, I mean, what's your opinion, predictions for your top three this weekend? Let me know in the comments. Great to meet Pierre Gasly at Goodwood the other week as well. I bet you were all there. Imagine that, going to Goodwood and you go to F1, you pay all that money and you don't meet the drivers, but then you go to Goodwood and sometimes they'll hover around. Yeah, it was very interesting there, to say the least, on that one. Getting to meet Gasly and then, talking about the new regs certainly made it interesting. Anyway, moving on now to another bit of news that I want to quickly talk about motorsport-wise. I'm going to go over some of the news from the States now. I'll go over the NASCAR race, the NASCAR action. I just want to say thank you to Goodwood the other week as well. But I tell you what, the NASCAR demonstration runs when I was at Goodwood the other day, I got to capture some, I think, on the Friday. I tell you what, some amazing tributes to Kyle Busch over the weekend at Goodwood. Kurt Busch's brother driving one of his cars up the hill. We have quite a few drivers. I think Jimmy Johnson, I'm not sure, he might have drove one of the Chevrolet Camaros or one of the Toyota Camrys up the hill, one of Busch's ex-racing NASCARs that took place. Just want to say a huge thank you to Goodwood Festival Speed for that Americana celebration. Also, the GT40s going up the hill as well. I mean, that was amazing. Seeing the Andretti's, Mario Marco and Michael all driving them up the hill. But anyway, let's go on to the NASCAR now. Quaker State 400 available at Walmart was the latest race to take place in the Cup Series. And it was won by Ryan Blaney, the number 12 Ford Mustang. Had a Christopher Bell, Carson Hochhaver, who's in third. Fourth went the way of Ty Gibbs. Eric Jones was fifth. Shane Van Gisbergen with I think that's one of his best finishes on an oval in P6. Sixth place there. Austin Dillon seventh. Reddick eighth. Logano ninth. Chris Buescher took home the final top 10 spot. DNS for Herbert, Briscoe, Allmendinger, and BJ McLeod as well, or BJ McLeod, the other one to DNF in that race. In your Riley Auto Parts, it was Allgaier that won that one. And in the Truck Series, it was Grant Enfinger, I think, that won that one. That was at Lime Rock Park, by the way. That was at a different circuit, not at Texas. Just confirm that was Echo Park Speedway, which is actually, no, it isn't Texas, it's Echo Park Speedway. That is actually Atlanta Motor Speedway, by the way. It used to be called that, got renamed apparently. Zach, what was your opinion on the latest NASCAR rounds over the weekend?
Yeah, NASCAR back last weekend. at the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta as well. Yes, that's always good to see. They're back as well. But Atlanta's always good weekend for racing and all that sort of thing as well. So yeah, always good to see as well that they're back there. As well, and actually, it was a late one for the Cup Series because there was a weather delay during the middle of the race, and I don't believe they finished until something like 2:00 in the morning, US time as well. There was a big weather delay, but they managed to get them in racing quite late in the morning. I suppose might as well get in. It was a late start, but it was Ryan Blaney. In the end, they're in a good finish ahead of Christopher Bell and Carlson Hocutt, you mentioned as well. Ty Gibbs fourth, Eric Jones fifth. Shane Van Gibson was an excellent sixth position as well. Improving his speedway performances as well. His road course ones as well. Austin Dillon seventh, Tyler Reddick eighth, Joe Logano ninth, and Chris Buescher 10th. It was very, and I have to say, it was a very good race as well. So yeah, really. Yeah, it was good. I think it was decent from the bits I saw. It was a decent race actually as well, and then there was a lot of action as well. And also, as mentioned, Napa Water Park as well. Justin Allgaier won that race as well, ahead of Carson Kapapi in second position, and then you had Peter Parker Retzler in third position as well. Yeah, a very, very good race all across the weekend. Also, the Truck Series also raced at Lime Rock Park as well in a standalone weekend as well with a lot of action there. And it ended up with Grant Enfinger winning that one ahead of Landon Lewis in second position as well. We've got Caden Honeycutt third one, and then Parker Kigan in fourth position as well. That was on last weekend. This weekend, it's a bit of a different one because they're off to, well, not a new track, but the first time this has been hosting it's a bit of a historic track, this one. It goes back years and years if you want to do it for a points race rise. Now, North Wilkesboro Speedway is back hosting the Cup Series race. Now, you may remember it's hosted the All-Star race previously before. That was an points race. This year, it's hosting a points race for the first time in many, many years. So yeah, that is going to be happening at North Wilkesboro Speedway as well. It's taking place it's a short track in North Wilkesboro as well, North Carolina. And yeah, it's great to see now a short track on the calendar hosting hosting a points race, and it's very historic. You have to go back years. It was hosting races since 1951 was the first time, I believe, it was hosting a Cup Series race as well. And it's back hosting what is actually the old, what we call the Window World 450. That's the name since they've been held since 1949. And yeah, that's something. But yeah, they're going to be racing for 450 miles. It's a bit rare to be 450 rather than actually it's 281 miles, but it's rare to have a 450 kilometer race rather than a 500 one. But yeah, it's 0.621 miles. We know it's in North Carolina as well. And yeah, it's great to see a historic track like North Wilkesboro host a points race again this weekend as well for the Cup Series. That'll be at midnight. UK time, very early Monday morning, as well. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series off this weekend, but the Truck Series, I believe, is back this weekend as well. Yeah, they're back on the Saturday. That'll be they're actually on an earlier time. Actually, they're on the day slot. They were on Saturday at 5:30 UK time, 12:30 in America as well. So the Truck Series is back in short track racing. The Cup Series as well. And on the Cup Series as well, I should mention we're at the semi-final stage of the NASCAR In-Season Challenge as well, where you get the one that gets to win it gets $1 million for winning for getting through to the 4 races as well. So we are left with 4 drivers now. Just 4 drivers remain. We're in the semi-final stage of the In-Season Challenge NASCAR, and left and taking on each other this weekend. Alex Bowman will face Todd Gilliland, and Denny Hamlin I think it's, was it the quarters? No, it's sorry, but yeah, no, hang on a minute. Yeah, no, it's no, sorry, I've got that slightly wrong. It'll be Todd Gillen taking on Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell taking on Ryan Blaney in the semi-finals of the in-season challenge. Now, for those in-season challenges, that drivers get face opponent. The driver that finishes ahead of their opponent will go through, and we're left with 4. So Todd Gillen, Chase Elliott, Christopher, Ryan Blaney are the 4 left. It'll either be one of only 2 will go through to the final round of the in-season challenge at Indianapolis. It'll either be Todd Gillen, Chase Elliott, Christopher, Ryan Blaney. 2 of them will go through. 2 of them will be eliminated from the £1 million. And then the final will be next week at Indianapolis, where one of the 4 drivers will win $1 million on prize money as well. So that is that's the 2 semi-finals of the in-season challenge coming up this weekend as well. And yeah, well, all we've got to do is finish ahead of your opponent and you win. Simple as. And get through to the final next week as well.
Yes, North Wilkesboro is an absolute classic venue. It's been hosting, it opened years ago, this circuit did. 1947 and present, literally post-World War II, when they opened the track up. Carl Larson set the lap record of an 18.362 in 2024 when we had the All-Stars race. But yes, for the first time in 30 years, we're going to be having an iconic event back, the Window World 450, which is going to be massive, this weekend. A driver could certainly win this event. And you have to go back to 1996 for the last time Jeff Gordon won in the number over 400 laps in the Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolet there. Jeff Gordon is the last winner of this event, by the way. An absolute great of NASCAR, by the way, Jeff Gordon is. So, yes, 30 years ago, last time this event was on, we're back this weekend for a North Wilkesboro Classic. I think from what I've heard, about 25,000 fans. Obviously, 25,000 people the venue can be expanded for. So, yeah, let's hope that it's packed out grandstands this weekend for this North Wilkesboro race. An absolute classic circuit. We need to bring these classic tracks back. Come on, the UK, Formula E going Brands Hatch next year, and Zandvoort as well. Obviously, with F1 losing Zandvoort, it's a shame, but get these classic tracks back on the calendar at some point. Come on. It's going to be amazing seeing them. Anyway, moving on now to some more news. Zach, I want to start with this. Sadiq Khan, apparently he's getting a peerage.
He is. He's getting a peerage. The peerages are out today, and this is sort of Keir Starmer's sort of farewell gift for resigning. So this is a political peerage. Now, this is sort of a half of sort of what we get from Keir Starmer, a bit of a U-turn previously, because he's sort of indicated before that he wouldn't do sort of like a goodbye peerage. This is not sort of being classified as a resignation period or anything like that. It's just, but anyway, some would say it would have been. But let me tell you a few names that are here that have been given peerages, and there are some that you may recognise as well. Alison Graham of the Child Poverty Action Group has got a peerage. Who we got? Christina McAney, who used to be the former General Secretary of the Union, has also got a peerage as well. Who else is on there as well? Marcus Davey, the artist around Roundhouse as well. And as you mentioned as well, Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, has a peerage. Now, it's not the first mayor, by the way, to get a peerage. The Mayor of Teesside, Ben Houchen, is also a Lord in the House of Lords. So that's not the first time it's happened, but obviously, given it's Sadiq Khan, there will be some controversy around it because Sadiq Khan seems to be some sort of controversial figure around it and that sort of thing as well. But yeah, is it deserved? Maybe. I think, some would say he's not. I mean, people outside of London would think he's not deserved, but I wouldn't be surprised if actually he gets the credit he deserves sometimes, and actually he deserves the period as well. Liberal Democrats got a few on there as well. Some people that you don't really recognise, but the one up there is Dave McCobb, who used to be the director of field campaigns for the Liberal Democrats. The Conservatives got 3 on there. They've got through Sir Patrick Sanders, the chief of the General Staff of the British Army. He's got a peerage on there as well. David Ross, the co-founder of Carphone Warehouse, former chair of the National Portrait Gallery as well. Brian Leveson. Wow. So Brian Leveson has also got a peerage as well. Former President of the Queen, chair of the Leveson Inquiry. Would you believe that? And also the former cabinet, the very short-running cabinet secretary, Chris Wormold, has also got a former cabinet secretary has also been given a crossbench peerage as well. So yeah, it's not been billed as sort of a end of sort of retirement peerages, but they have been given anyway by Keir. It almost feels like that as well. Tomorrow is where it really is made official now, because tomorrow is meant to be the special conference where Andy Burnham will be finally elected as Labour leader, a leader of the Labour Party, and then on Monday he will be appointed prime. He will be going to the Buckingham Palace to get his permission, to get the King's permission to form the next government, and he'll be number 10 shortly in that afternoon as well. So yeah, it's finally about to happen for Andy Burnham. We're probably going to hear a little bit about his vision tomorrow when he gives his acceptance speech as Labour leader. And then obviously the big speech will be on Monday when he makes his first official address to the nation as Prime Minister on Monday as well. But yeah, it's finally here. After much of speculation, long months of lobbying and everything like that, he gets the big job on Monday. And yeah, it is going to be a big job for him, no doubt about it as well. So yeah, expect a lot of announcements. There has been a lot of rumours about what's happened with his cabinet. It does appear for now that Ed Miliband has lost his fight to become Chancellor. The word on the street now is going to go to Shabana Mahmood, the current Home Secretary. But I'm hearing the bits I'm reading is that the likes of Wedge Streeting, Lucy Powell, maybe Angela Rayner will be back in the cabinet as well. Louise Haigh, Yvette Coupe has been the name out there for a job as well. But yeah, there's a lot of unconfirmed positions. We think at this stage, we think Shabana's got the Chancellor job. Miliband is probably still going to be in the cabinet though, in another job. But yeah, it does look like she's going to get the Chancellor position ahead of Ed Miliband. And there's also murmuring about some of his policy, Andy Burnham. Whispers are he may actually go for improve some of the oil banks, Rosenbank and the other one near Scotland as well. There's rumours about him potentially taking over Thames Water, but he's going to talk about speech about even more.
And this as well, I've just found out energy drinks to be banned from under 16s in England from April. That should come out today.
Yeah, that's going to be going to law as well, and yeah, it's very very. I think it's a good policy in my view as well, but yeah. The work starts now for Andy Burnham, and he's going to have a busy few weeks ahead. He sounds like he's going to go across a tour of the country, speaking to people out there as well, and he's also going to make some policy announcements as well to try and ease the cost of living as well. Which, start as you mean to go, it's a good start. There's going to be no parliament for it, but you might as well talk to the country, get your announcements out there, and look like you mean business. So yeah, it's all guns ahead for Andy Burnham over the next week.
I want to talk more about this quickly because I've got to be serving this if I work in a supermarket on the checkout. I'm going to be serving the customers all this. So I have to make sure this new Think 25 is pointing in my head here. But basically, according to this, drinks containing more than 150 milligrams of caffeine per litre will be illegal to sell in shops, children and younger teenagers in shops, restaurants, cafes, vending machines and online. Low caffeinated drinks such as Diet Coke are not affected. Neither are tea, coffee. However, though Red Bull, Monster, Relentless and Prime would all breach new limit. The new limit is to reduce obesity levels in children and prevent issues such as disrupted sleep, increased anxiety, as well as lack of concentration, as well as school results. It was first proposed by Public Health Minister Sharon Hodgson said ban demonstrates firm first. Around 100,000 children in England have been consuming energy drinks every day, and warned beverages can also limit people's focus. You can see here, can of cola, 355 has 40 milligrams caffeine. Mug of black tea is around 250 or 50 grams of caffeine. Double espresso, 80. Mug of instant coffee is 100. Well, instant coffee, man, that's a lot. That's got more caffeine than double that than tea. Would you believe it? A can of Red Bull, 80 milligrams. 2 cans of cola or 1 double espresso. A can of Monster or Relentless energy drinks is 4 cans of cola, 2 double espressos, and can of Prime energy drinks. 3.5 cans of cola, 1.5 double espressos. The ban comes as 1,100 responses to the consultation which supported introducing the age restriction on drinks. The new laws will come in via the legislation using powers from the Food Safety Act 1990. Zach, I've just read out there. I mean, this news obviously is an interesting development. I mean, look, Prime is yes. I mean, Prime is this KSI and Logan Paul branded drink that you see in vending machines across arcades and stuff. And then you've also got Relentless and Monster and Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris's Monster drinks. And I mean, it's clear to me that this is really all about, this to me is like, there's obviously going to be, targeted wise, there's obviously a news here to try and reduce children from having highly caffeinated drinks that will affect their concentration, particularly in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's lots of measures about this, what's going on here as well. I mean, look, the banning of it, it's not just going to be banned in like adverts and everything like that after 9 o'clock, before 9 o'clock. There's also going to be banned in shops. Those machines where they sell them as well, then they're going to be stopped doing that as well in front of certain areas as well, obvious areas where they can be sold children can get hold of. So I think it's all about reducing the visibility, and I don't mind it. At the end of the day, I think that they're not exactly brilliant, are they? These energy drinks for children. They're not. They're not exactly healthy. I mean, they're obviously they're energy, so they obviously need to get energy up. But they're not healthy. They're not exactly good for children's health wise. Actually, it's actually counterproductive. So I'm supportive of it. I'm supportive of the ban and the restrictions online, social media. Well, not social media, but online TV adverts and on the shops as well. I'm supportive of that.
Yes, it's certainly an interesting thing. Comment down below, guys, what you make of that. Now it's time to talk about an American rock band now, Linkin Park. Now, a lot of you guys might not have heard of Linkin Park, but I'll give you a rundown because I've got something also else that I want to cover as well. Now, in 2000, a small band in America released Hybrid Theory and became international superstars. In fact, the album in question is actually one of the best-selling rock albums of all time. The first albums featured Chester Bennington as well, featuring new metal, rap metal and rap rock genres, featuring One Step Closer, Crawling, Paper Cuts, and In the End was the most successful before all singles remained some of the bands, although Runaway and Point to Authority and My December from the special editions were not released as singles. Peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard Top 200 charts, and also became one of the best-selling albums of all time. It's also second best-selling rock album of the 21st century. The former 44th Grammy Awards. It won Best Hard Rock Performance for Crawling in 2020. Warner Brothers announced the re-release of Hybrid Theory, contained demo recordings of She Couldn't. It was also released at the same time as well. Also, we had other albums that came out. You had obviously Meteora, which featured tracks like Numb, Figure 09, also Breaking the Habit. Then Minutes to Midnight in 2007, which featured What I've Done, Bleed It Out, Shadow of the Day, Given Up, and Leave Out All the Rest. as well. A bit more change to alternative sound. Thousand Suns in 2010 featured tracks like The Catalyst, which was a song really kind of used in the video game Medal of Honor as well. It was also apparently allowed they're downloaded for Guitar Hero as well, apparently. As well, Waiting for the End, Burning Skies, Indecrescent, Living Things featured Burn It Down, Lost in the Echo, Castle of Glass as well. Burn It Down actually sold for over 3 million copies alone as of 2022 in the United States alone. That's from their album. You also had The Haunting Party in 2014. First album with not to be produced with Rick Rubin. That album featured tracks like Guilty on the Same and Gone Until It's Gone, and then obviously One More Light in 2017. The final album to feature Chester Bennington for his unfortunate passing, which actually is coming up now. Would you believe it? To 9 years. The other week it was 9 years ago since Chester had his last concert in Birmingham, which I watched the other day. Very emotional concert. You know, him singing Paper Cut with Mike right at the end. But it was quite an emotional moment seeing that on stage. As well, obviously more of the pop direction. Tracks like Heavy with Kilara, Talking to Myself, One More Light. Very sad news. Obviously, the band then had changes. Rob Burden left, was replaced by Colin Britton, another drummer. Emily Armstrong replaced Chester as the lead vocalist. And obviously From Zero got released a couple of years ago, featuring tracks like The Emptiness Machine, Heavy as Crown, Over Each Other, and also single Two-Face. And it reached number 1 in charts of more than 10 different countries as well. And it was 68 Grammy Awards. It was nominated for Best Rock Album as well. And they've just recently concluded the From Zero concert as well, featuring 3 editions of a deluxe edition, which featured Up From the Bottom, Unshatter, and Let You Fade. By the way, guys, I just want to read up. Linkin Park also have announced a film, which apparently Linkin Park Unshatter, according to this, they're actually teasing a new film. Would you believe it? It's going to tell the new film bringing the film Unshatter will be coming to theaters worldwide. It's a short teaser that it will, before they took stage at the Rock AM, created the band Joe Hahn. So it appears to film follow the band's journey to find a way once in the wake of passing Chester Bennington from studio type live footage. It's going to be Wars. It all optimised by one beautiful line from the 2010s track Waiting to the End as well. The band will be back on stage for this week, and that's the download. So a new film for Linkin Park, very interesting. Zach, what's your opinion on Linkin Park and obviously this new film coming out? Very interesting, I think.
Yeah, great band. And absolute look. Nothing's going to beat the Chester Bennington era of it. There's no doubt about it. I think as much as they're right, so they're back to sort of their old sound they are today, but it's obviously with different people, and I don't think people. I don't think obviously people won't remember for that era. Unfortunately, they remember for the Chester Bennington years. They obviously start out with they came on the scene, as you mentioned, quite early on their life in the early 2000s. And yeah, we're an album and that, and they just went off from there as well. They were big. They went big and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So they actually formed in 1996, you believe it? Well, so goodness. But before then, they were known as X-Zero and then Hybrid Theory before that. Would you believe it? And then they obviously changed the name to Linkin Park, which as well. But Hybrid Theory was their sort of their first breakout sort of album there, like that as well. They worked on that for half a decade. Wow. Okay. So it's sort of 5 years of work. And it sold 4.8 million copies during its debut years, and it's best-selling album in 2001. They got peaks as number 2 in the UK Billboard, that album as well. And they got features in films. The songs got features such as Dracula, Little Nicky and Valentine's as well. And they went on tour with Ozfest, Family Values Test as well. Then they went to Metallica as well, which was great. And Numb. wow, they went on there as well. And then they did more songs, tracks as well. And they put new material as well. What I've done is, they're released as well. And the peaked number 7 at Billboard as well. It featured in Transformers. That's how good it was. And then they sort of went to a little bit of a different sound, obviously, before that as well. And then they obviously went more rocky sound. They, it was obviously, they went a little bit, and then they started going a bit more commercial. And it was, they made it a bit more like poppy rock and everything like that as well. It was different, but it was sort of the trend at the time. They even did collaboration with Stormzy and Pusha T as well.
Like, goodbye,
Light as well. And then obviously we had that was the year that sort of like they had that sad Chester Bennington's death as well, July the 20th. It's actually 4 days into his anniversary now. And then One More Light became sort of like the official a song after as well, and that was a sad music video. But and then they sort of took a hiatus as well, and they regrouped, and they introduced new members like Emily Armstrong as well. She joined the band and became the lead vocalist, and I mean it's back to the sort of their old heavy rock sound, but again it doesn't beat the era of their Chester Bennington. There's no doubt about it. People remember from it as well, and that's how they remember it, and then it will still do. That's Linkin Park for you. What a great band they still are today, but nothing will be their early years. Absolutely.
Do you think the film will really compensate for it?
Oh, look. Today's movie compensate for it? I mean, look. Is that their old sound? Yes. Will it really compensate for it? Not really. Again, you can't beat Chester Bennington is Linkin Park. And I just don't know if Linkin Park, in people's eyes, would feel the same without it. I just don't think it probably does on that occasion. So, not fully. Some way it might do, but not fully, as well. And there's all sorts of controversy around the lead singer, and some of Chester Bennington's family members have had a bit spats with the lead singer before. So, in terms of legacy, I don't know. Some of it's gone. It might remain there in heart, but it's back. It's different now.
I've heard his son's been quite vocal about it, but I mean, obviously the film. I don't know what the film's going to be based on. Whether it's going to be based on their From Zero, whether that era, or whether it's going to be based on their old era. I don't know. But if you watch this film, guys, they did actually release a song a couple of years ago. Literally, they found it in a jukebox just recently. It was in a paper cut jukebox thing, because they released this song. It was like a rare recording, and it had Chester's vocals actually on it, believe it or not. I forgot what it was called. Chester literally was singing it. Friendly Fire, that was it. I literally listened to that and I was like, wow, that was from Chester. Chester actually sang that song, Friendly Fire. Wow. I mean, it was one of the last songs he recorded. I mean, wow, that's an emotional one, to say the least. Now we're going to go for a quick musical interlude now, and I'm going to play for you a song that you'll probably find familiar with. Ladies and gentlemen, this song, quite a funky little song, this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we need some time out on the beach this summer. It's Learn How to Surf by Owl City. We'll see you in a few minutes.
I spent the summer in Santa Cruz, and I met a blonde on the beach with lots of quirky tattoos. She had that old movie quote, we're gonna need a bigger boat. 2 tiny waves on her toes and turtle tracks on her collarbones. I asked her what they meant, And this is what she said: you gotta go with the flow, cause the tide's always turn, and sink or swim, diving in is the best way to learn. Kick up the sand, cause you're tan, prove you live through the burn. And when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. And by the way, it's okay, it could always be worse. Yeah, when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. Can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. I met a blonde on the beach with lots of quirky tattoos. She had a shark on her arm, a pirate shredding the gnar, an octopus wearing shades, and seagull wings on her shoulder blades. I asked her what they meant, and this is what she said: you gotta go with the flow, cause the tide's always turn, and sink or swim, diving in is the best way to learn. Kick up the sand, cause you're tan, prove you live through the burn. And when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. And by the way, it's okay, it could always be worse. Yeah, when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. Then she said, when you're sad and you feel alone, write them down, all your worries and woes. Fold them up, cork it shut, and let that bottle go, and set your troubles afloat. Seize the day, know the ocean by heart. And if it don't float your boat, learn to swim with the sharks. Kick up the sand, cause you're tan, prove you live through the burn. And when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves. Yeah, when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. And by the way, it's okay, it could always be worse. Yeah, when you wipe out, it's gonna hurt. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf.
Adam Young from Owl City there with the song Learn How to Surf. Yes, I know you said you had tattoos and animals with the girlfriend on that one. Very interesting song. Zach, obviously, Owl City, Adam Young's not very well known to many people, obviously, with his latest stuff. Obviously, a couple of songs kind of earlier in his career, like Fireflies and Good Time. But yeah, that was from his latest album, Coco. What did you think of that one? It was a very quirky song, wasn't it?
It's very, very emo. It's listening to a very emo sort of song. Like it's typical Owl City as well. I mean, like, oh my god, he hasn't changed. He hasn't really changed his sound one bit. That's a good thing. And it suits it well. I mean, wow. I feel retro listening. I feel retro emo. Listen to that. And I like, yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously from his album Coco Moon that released a few years ago. So, yes, I'm sure Owl City was very popular amongst many people. So, yeah. Anyway, now, to end the show tonight, I thought we would do a little kind of the good news segment, really. I feel like we need to really explain more about positive news and, you know, kind of go over some stuff because I've not really been over it for a while. So, let's go over the news here. So I've got some news that I've got some good news stories that I've just found on here. So the first one that is going to be very interesting is, according to this, Zach's just gone for a minute there. The first bit of news story that I've just found out is every week in Yorkshire. This is from Yorkshire, by the way. This week we're featuring a retiring nurse, a mob-loving teen. It's scooted his way to prom, and an ex-footballer's unexpected transfer news. Okay, here comes the news from the uplifting stories section of the BBC. So, these are some of the news I want to just mention about. The first one is a mob-mad teen attends prom in style. Now, Travis, a guy called Travis, travelled to his prom on the back of a scooter at the head of a convoy. A teenager with a passion for the mod scene was escorted to his school on a prom by dozens of scooter riders. More than 100 scooters rode in convoy with 15-year-old Travis from his home, Acon, to the event at York Racecourse on Monday evening. The ride-out was organised by his mother, Charlotte, who said her son's passion for scooters and the mod scene came from his grandparents. I would say every era is quite iconic, Travis said, but I would say the 60s is one of the most iconic era. I mean, look at that. That's actually really cool. Next up, footballer hangs up boots in classroom transfer. Jake Wright is the head of Year 8 at Newfield School in Sheffield. Former Sheffield United defender Jake Wright said swapping football boots for smart suits to work in a school allowed him to be a safe male role model for students. Wright played 46 times for Sheffield United, gaining promotion from League One to Championship in 2016-17. When he retired from the game, he joined Newfield School in September as head of Year 8, as a job he loves, without having no idea what he does next. Having found the adjustment from a noisy dressing room with big personalities and a colourful language to helping young minds in a new academy, definitely less rollicking, as he joked. Wow. I mean, to think of an ex-professional footballer becoming a teacher, that is actually quite something. I'm not going to lie, he'd be swapping fitness for sitting at a classroom desk. Also, a nurse devoted to a job retires after 55 years. Retiring from a role, Bradford Savatri Cameron said plenty of nurse memories over her 55 years in the health service, national NHS. She's 75. Savatri left home in Mauritius for the UK in 1971, living in Scotland for a number of years before moving to West Yorkshire. Said, although it would be tough to leave, I have a job that really loved and she wanted to devote more time to travel. The next bit of news, oh my God, this one's actually quite something. 100 ultramarathons in 100 days for rugby star. When bleed on the brain ended David Jackson's professional rugby career in 2013, it changed his life forever. Now the 44-year-old is tackling a new challenge on fundraising world record, in which you attempt to run 100 ultramarathons in 100 days for brain charity Headway, a UK Head for Change. David and his wife Catherine will travel to 25 locations, including Leeds, Sheffield, spending 4 days in each week and run daily for 50 kilometres. The thing that I've been doing is the most inspiring for us, and been the support we've had from the people that have come to join us, he said, with their stories. And finally, the date of Hull will be stripped off and turned blue. In 2016, US artist Spencer Tuick photographed more than 3,000 people standing naked in front of the Maritime Hall landmark's immense Sea of Hull installation. The project was commissioned by Ferrand Arts Gallery, ahead of achieving status as the UK City of Culture the following year. The blue paint worked as a cloak. You didn't need to feel naked, David Bill said, now 76, recalled. People kept telling me how brave but I am then. I'm not stupid. So these are some of the positive news stories of the last week. Zach, what do you make of this? This is very interesting. From a mob man attending a prom to an ex-footballer's transfer to a guy running 100 ultra marathons. There's a lot on there.
Well, fair play to the guy running 100 ultra marathons. Oh, goodness me. How do people have the energy to do it? I mean, well done. I certainly couldn't do that. My legs would have fallen halfway through the ultra marathon, and I'll be running my knees. And even then, I don't think my knees could last doing that. So then I would probably be crawling across the floor whilst I try and turn away with all of exhaustion. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I like the convoy one. That's lovely. As well, it's just great. And yeah, sometimes people are just lovely, and the convoy thing was just absolutely lovely. Sometimes kindness is a good thing, and that just it's just special. But fair play to the bloke who does the ultra marathon, whoever did the ultra marathon. I mean, 100 ultra marathons. I don't know how you prepare for that, but yeah, they must make you fit as hell. So well done to them. That's just brilliant.
If you've got any positive news stories, please send them in, because honestly, that's what we want this show to be about. We want positive news to bring you every week. And, you know, trust me, there's so much that you can do. And whether it was from Goodwood, whether it's from just up in your county, and, you know, there's so much about it. It's just amazing. And, you know, obviously me going to Festival of Speed the other week, you know, it was amazing. And, you know, to meet loads of new people as well. And it's just amazing. And, you know, to be fair, Goodwood's always a very historic venue with the horse racing. And I think Glorious Goodwood was on the other weekend, I think. So we'll keep an eye on the horse racing. And also, guys, let us know in the comments, is there anything else you want us to cover on this show? Because trust me, obviously, we're now coming into the summer recess for Parliament now. So to be honest with you, over the summer period, politics news, you're probably going to get some United States stuff that we'll cover. But most of the time now, the UK stuff, we're going on recess after next week. So really, all we're going to have mostly is going to be motorsport. So if you've got any other news that you want us to talk about, please let us know in the comments. Because trust me, this podcast is about, you know, current affairs. It's about motorsport, sport. We could even cover some sporting news around America if we wanted to, or all around the world. You know, there's lots of stuff that we can cover. And if you've got any suggestions, please comment down below. Much appreciated as well. You just heard a bit of the good news segment there as well. But anyway, well, that's pretty much it for the podcast tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Thankfully, I managed to stay on air all in one piece tonight. And Zach, obviously, for the next week, obviously, a big week for, obviously, a new Labour leader, a new government as well. But also, it is a big weekend this weekend, isn't it, for the FIFA World Cup as well, where one team, Spain or Argentina, will be crowned. And obviously, all of the details are on BBC for that as well.
And ITV as well. So that both broadcasters showing the final as well. You got a choice if you want to, who you want to watch with.
Yeah, so that'll be at 8 p.m. on Sunday, or for the final of the World Cup, and that'll be held in New York, New Jersey stadium. So make sure. England obviously plays Saturday against France. That is it for our podcast tonight. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And we'll see you again next time for another edition of the Tonight Show podcast. From me and Zach, take care and have a lovely evening. Goodbye.